All right, now hear me out. I really do think, I'm convinced at this point, Sumika's a spy. Not technically intentionally, but I believe that she's working as a spy for the beta. I think it's one of those aspects that she's able to communicate and understand them, and I think they're able to understand her as well. It just feels like we're having too many moments where the beta knows exactly where to go. And yes, I think we kind of shrugged it off in the last episode, this idea that yes, technically they can detect or at least know that this is this advanced technology coming their way. That's why they pushed the front over towards where Sumika was coming in at. But now that they're like talking about the direction they want to escape from, and suddenly all the betas show up there, well, again, can just happen to be there. It really does feel like they know what the current plans are for this group, and I think it's being told through Sumika. But no, I'm getting ahead of myself. Really good episode. Really fantastic. Episode 21 of Muv Luv Alternative was a really good episode. And I think the nuggets in here was definitely around just that feeling of they finally got a step forward. This is the moment after, shoot, how many years of them just being pushed down, their faces rubbing in the mud, and then suddenly everybody realizes it was all for this moment. Everything, suddenly, I think the way they said it is that not only was the hives blown away, but also the despair and the resignation of the humankind at this moment. Everything they've been going through so far suddenly was just blown away. They had a step. They finally took a step forward, and that was that moment. Just seeing the tears in everybody's eyes as they're just feeling like, finally, we achieved something. And I think they pulled that off very well. But no, I'm getting ahead of myself. We open up the episode with, yes, Sumika finally launching off in the Susanoo, heading towards a direction. They obviously have to create a formation around her. I like how they kind of play that out. Obviously, whenever she goes to fire, everybody's getting the hell out of the way. She fires and decimates everything, and they kind of have to move back into formation as she has to charge it back up. So, despite it feeling like, holy crap, just send this thing in there and have it just decimate everything, it's not really that easy. They still need to protect her while they're going through the scenario. And as we see later on, their presence there meant something because they had to protect her, or at least retrieve her if things go wrong. But it does make me really kind of question at this point, what is the purpose of Sumika herself? Is it the fact that she's bioengineered, that she's able to actually control this thing and the normal human inside of it wouldn't function or wouldn't be able to pull it off? It didn't really seem like anything that was done during this entire operation was Sumika going, I know where they're at, I can communicate to them here. What exactly was her being there as her ability to talk and listen to the beta significant here? So I'm curious if they'll eventually explain that. Why couldn't anybody else have piloted that thing? Why put your one chosen weapon in that cockpit? No, I kind of skipped it, but yes, it was really cool, this little segment where you have Shirogane kind of jumping around, doing all those crazy attacks and fighting off everything, and you had this general in the back, you know, with Kozuki talking about how, holy crap, this thing's really good. Like, he's doing an incredible job. And she's like, oh yeah, that's the new OS that we placed into place. Man, if we could have that, it would lower so many casualties. This is a great idea. We need to implement this into all of our forces. And she's like, yeah, the creator of it said the same thing. Wait, you didn't create it? No, he did. Like, she actually pointed out who actually created it, which is kind of surprising. I would assume that's something that she would want to keep under wraps. But it was cool to see this idea that, you know, exactly what you're saying, this idea, this new OS can lower casualties so much. It wasn't, holy crap, this OS destroys stuff. It's, this OS will prevent people from dying. Which, yes, in effect, plays into the first thing, but it's putting lives first before anything else. And we've kind of been establishing over these last few episodes how important it is to these people about their comrades and their forces and not turning into casualties. But yeah, we had a brief glimpse of the whiskey unit, which, yes, we finally got to see Izumi's sister, and she was about to die, but that was a fake out. The Royal Guard showed up. They were just tearing stuff up, so apparently they had to get a quick little fake out of Izumi's sister, which we'll get into later on. I think it's going to be the opposite effect, honestly. But no, yes, Sumika finally shows up, shoots this laser, decimates all of the beta that's currently at, you know, ground level, makes a huge gaping hole in the hive, which, honestly, at this point, I don't know how relevant that is. I mean, stick with me here. And maybe it's something that's missed, glossed over, and it isn't really explained in the anime adaptation, but okay, you have this hive. And typically with hives, or at least with underground hives, they're digging down and they're pushing the mud up, and that's why it has this kind of pillar effect being created. And that was my assumption. When I seen the hives, I assumed it was a downward digging and all of the earth gets kind of pushed up and it creates a pillar. I mean, that was like what they were talking about when they first went in the hive, when they first arrived there. They thought they cleared it, but then suddenly a crap ton of beta come from underneath. They're underneath. So what is shooting through this hive mean that the beta underneath are going to get affected by it? Unless I'm just misinterpreting what they were saying in the previous episode, but I believe they were talking about they had like 40,000 some that were coming from beneath, and I believe they were at the first level. So who knows? But yeah, anyways, this laser just decimating everything. And like I said, I really loved how they portrayed everybody just having that emotion well up inside of them. The relief that suddenly we finally have a step forward. Now, granted, as things progress through this episode, they take a step back, but still, this is a step forward. They have finally achieved something. But additionally, on top of that, suddenly out of nowhere, after the second shot, which takes out another hive, I think there was 2 total hives, suddenly, here we go again. This wasn't just for no reason. Shirogane suddenly, while seeing this decimated side of this mountain, suddenly recalls a volcano. And yes, it was apparently a previous loop or previous life that he lived where he was at the volcano, Mayo was upset, and then they got together inside of a cockpit doing something, who knows? And he suddenly goes, that was from a previous life that I lived. Did I get with her before? And then suddenly, it seemed as, and I'm making a connection here that might not need to be made, but it feels like this was implied. The moment he made that connection to a previous life, it seems as if Sumika suddenly went unconscious. Suddenly something went wrong in Sumika and she fell over, which makes me believe that his mindset is interlinked with Sumika. And if suddenly he doesn't have this mindset that he's with Sumika and this is the world that he's in, it messes with her. So her working well is going to rely on Shirogane's mental stability. The two of them have to be mentally stable to the current now and them being together, otherwise it breaks. Now, how that works, I don't know. It might play into my previous theory that Shirogane this entire time has been a beta. We'll see. And maybe she's able to read his mind because he is a beta, and she sees him with this other girl and it suddenly shocks her. I know I'm going crazy here. And again, if this is actually true or not true, I don't need to know. But again, that whole goofy, crazy theory that I have is really depending on the fact that she said at some point, Sumika said at some point, I need to take out the beta. I need to take out you. And she was looking at Shirogane, implying that he is a beta, which technically would make sense in the idea of how is he resetting? How is he jumping worlds? How is he special in some way? And yes, how does he exist when the Shirogane of this world is supposed to be dead? Which makes me believe he is a beta. But if not, then again, my theory currently stands is that the two of them need to be mentally stable. And if he somehow thinks of something else, a previous reset, it breaks something and Sumika falls. And that's why she went unconscious. But yeah, with the Susanoo O now falling, really sucks. I really do feel for them. Suddenly it's like, well, crap. This thing was the thing. This was our weapon. We were finally winning, and now it just falls over. And it definitely does feel like it really hits the characters, as obviously you have Kozuki saying, yeah, time to get rid of it. Like, we'll just go in there and get Sumika. Let's get, no, this doesn't say Sumika, I'm sorry, 00 unit. Go get 00 unit, get her out of there, get to the escape point, and we're just gonna destroy the thing. Wait, you can't do that. This is finally we have the tool to do this. We've finally gotten a success, and now you just want to destroy it? Obviously, from Kozuki's perspective, Sumika is the weapon. She is the experiment. She is the thing that's making this successful. Again, how that's the case, don't know yet. Hopefully we'll find out. But no, she does allow an option. We might possibly be able to get it to autopilot. So we're going to send in Shirogane to get 00 unit. At the same time, Captain Izumi has to go in there, go down to the control point, and see if she can activate the autopilot. And just before they go to leave, Izumi realizes, oh, the person you were talking about is this girl, right? The one that you were asking about fighting alongside, would you be able to, execute your purpose when somebody that you love is nearby you? That's who you were talking about. Well, do what you said you were going to do. get her out of here. Which sucks because I'm like, okay, we're flagging Izumi. So pretty much what I'm kind of pulling together here, what my prediction is going to happen here, they're not going to get Susanoo out. And this is really going to suck. What we're establishing here is that obviously Shirogane is going to be going to the extraction point. He's going to be trying to escape from this area because all the beta are coming. Unfortunately, they apparently can't take any alternate routes. They have to go through the nastiest point possible. What I think is going to happen, bare minimums, what's going to happen is that Susanoo is not going to be able to get out of there. Izumi is going to have to stay with the unit and destroy it. She's going to be trapped in it with beta around here, and she's going to have to destroy herself because they can't let the beta possibly have this technology. If any possibility the beta have intelligence, they can't have this unit. So I believe what's going to happen, bare minimum, is she's going to get surrounded by the beta, and she's going to have to detonate the thing. The only addition I would give to that whole prediction is a possibility that she will engage the autopilot, but she will only be able to get a fire off one time to clear their path to get out of there. Before then, she is surrounded, and she has to just nuke the thing. Which, at that point, if this thing has autopilot and is able to fire off and everything, what's the point in having Sumika? Unless maybe the laser itself requires Sumika to be in it. Is Sumika a laser class? I don't think it's that. I'm getting weird. I'm getting weird with the predictions. I'm going to stop. But no, that's where I think it's going. And it's going to get crazy, unfortunately. I will say, though, I'll be surprised if Izumi is the only casualty they have in this whole entire situation. I really do think that people are going to be dropping like flies. Technically still could happen. But honestly, we really haven't lost any real main names. I really did think that Kozuki at some point was going to test my theory about Sumika and like possibly giving Shirogane false information and seeing if the beta move. Like if they can, relay to Shirogane, hey, we're going to take the east route instead, and then see if the beta go that direction. That would be really cool. But anyways, we'll see next week. We're running out of episodes, and we haven't even got an announcement for another season, and I know that apparently that's not it, so we'll see. I do want to say, I don't know why it didn't get to me last episode, but for some reason, this episode was suddenly getting a kick out of the stupid Valkyrie mom. Valkyrie mom to Valkyries. Valkyrie mom to Valkyries. It just sounds goofy coming out of her voice. Anyways, that's my thoughts on episode 21 of Muv Luv Alternative. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, if you did, make sure that like button down below, comment. Let me know what you thought of this episode. Additionally, if you're new to the channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you get all my content. I do news, reviews, first impressions, top lists. If it's anime, it's pretty much here. Additionally, if you want to support the channel more, we have a Patreon link, a tips link, and a super thanks button down below. I greatly appreciate what it does, and y'all take care.